Lex Reads. So in today's video, I was actually inspired to do this video because of, you guys remember last month in June, I did a read romances in 1 week and I really enjoyed myself, but I wanted to read my TBR list in 1 week, like some of the books. So just like I did in the romance vlog, how I didn't put like a certain number of books I wanted to read. I'm not gonna say I want to read 3 books and no, because again, I get easily defeated. I want to have the same concept where I just picked up books that I, liked and I read them. And if I, felt like I needed to DNF them, okay, I need to DNF them. I did also want to include, you guys know I'm doing my author project of where I'm only reading one author's catalog the whole year, and my author pick is J. California Cooper. And I told you guys in my organizing my reading and like some of my wrap-ups I did, I always want to incorporate reading at least one of her books for each month. And I'm currently, which I'm basically almost done, I'm reading this short story collection. It's called Some Love, Some Pain, Some Time. And I did realize I have like 2 more books that I need to get by her, but I'm basically done with this. I'm on 263 and it's like 170 something pages. So I'm gonna wrap this up. This is just a collection of short stories. I did start this before I wanted to, do this, but after I finish that book, I need to pick a book for my TBR. Okay, so at first I was going to read this one, The Fire in the Flint by Walter Francis White. He is a Harlem Renaissance writer, but I don't think, I got to get my mind right for this because this is dealing with, racism, KKK. It's during the, I believe, 1900s. I know this is published in 1924. I do think it's during that time, and y'all know Injustice of Blacks, so I gotta get my mind right for that. I don't want to read that, but here is my TBR list. Wait, these are okay. So here are all of the books on my TBR that I do need to finish. And again, this is not including my author project, because I think I have, with that, her books are right there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 more books to read by her. But yeah, these are all the books. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, this is not a part of it. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 books on 7, 8. And for some reason, while I was reading my J. California Cooper book, I was thinking about, the next book I wanted to read off the TBR. And for some reason, this is calling me. This, or maybe the Davenports. Okay. And the reason why for the Davenports, sorry guys, is I just finished finally reading, what was it called? American Daughters by Parker Hughley. It was talking about Alice, Roosevelt, and what's the girl's name? Portia Washington. They are the daughter of Booker T. Washington and the daughter of Theodore Roosevelt. And that's like during like the 1900s or whatever. So after I read that, I finished it like 2 days ago, I started to watch again The Gilded Age. You guys know how much I've talked about that series on Max, how much I love it. I've watched that season so many times. But I got inspired after reading that book. I started watching that again, and I'm like, do I want to read this next? Even though this is coming out, the second book is coming out in November. So I was thinking about maybe like waiting until like September, October. I don't know. It just depends on how I feel. I'm trying to see how long this book is, as y'all know I go through page numbers too. Okay, so this book is 376. So I don't know, but I'm thinking about Tumbling. This is only 290 something pages. Try not to look at the end of the book. $2.99. This is a better copy because I got this from a library sale. So yeah, so that's possibly on deck, I think. Okay, we have this. We have the Fire and the Flint. This is Pro Cleach. I Wish I Had a Red Dress. You guys remember when I did my Read a Book in One Day? What was that book called? What Looks Like Crazy on an Ordinary Day. That was about the woman, what was her name? Eva, I believe. She was diagnosed with HIV. She goes back home to Georgia to be with her family and da-da-da-da-da. So this is the sequel to it, and it's talking about her older sister, Joyce. This, of course, y'all know, gotta have a Donna Hill. This is Aya, The Way Home. This just came out last year, and I already know this gonna be good because it's Donna Hill. You already know it's Donna Hill. This is 363, it looks like it. Then Hurricane Summer. This is a YA book by Asha Bloomfield. I did start this and I got distracted. I'm on page 119. Then next, oh Lord, G-Spot, an urban erotica tale by Noir. Now this is a series. I said to myself, if I do like the series, I do like the first book, I will read, the series. But I know I don't want to read this because I got to be in the mood for urban fiction / erotica, because you already know they go be doing, saying, talking some stuff. I got to get my mind right. I think because I have been reading a lot of romances, even though erotica and romance is a different genre, but y'all know. And lastly, Comedy American Style by Jessie Redmond Fawcett. She is also a Harlem Renaissance writer. She's one of my favorite women authors from that time. I did start this like 2 years ago or something, and you see this is back when I wasn't into having the tabs match, but I'm gonna have to get rid of this because this is going to bother me. This is also on deck, so yeah, but I do think I'm going to read, I'm gonna read Tumbling. Yeah, I do think my next book, it's going to be Tumbling by Diane McKinney Weststone. So let me finish this, and then I'm going to start this, and I'll give you guys a, synopsis of this book, because I know a tiny bit of it. So, yeah. Okay, you guys. So I just read the first chapter of Tumbling by Diane McKinney Weststone, and I already like it. And it's set in the 1940s. It's going to be set in 1940s and 1950s, but right now it's set in 1940s. You have a young man named Herbert, is it? No, Herbie. And you have his wife named Noon. And Herbie, he liked to go to the speakeasies. He go to the Royale, and there's like jazz and music and things like that. And in his mind, he's thinking about, how he loves this woman named Ethel. I think she's like a singer or something like that. And while he's walking home, he sees on his doorstep, a like box. And in the box, it's a baby. And he's shocked, like, what in the world? Like, yeah. So he, goes in the house and he calls his wife Noon, and Noon, he tells his wife Noon, there's a baby on the, doorstep, and, all this other stuff. And she's thinking in her mind, like, is this your baby? Because I know that you kind of mess around and things like that. And then it looks like he really wants to keep this baby. I declare for God, you seem to have gotten mighty attached to this baby. I thought a baby was the farthest thing from your mind. No, it's just that I can hardly get close enough to you to put you in a family way. He saw Noon flinch, even from where he was standing, looking down on her head, and she turned to him. He could see her scalp tightening through the brown twisted papers that she used to curl her hair. He stopped and breathed in hard and said, I'm sorry, Noon. I shouldn't have said that. Guess we're going to have to turn her over to the authorities come daybreak. Guess we will, he said. His words felt like lead coming out. He was hoping Noon would say, we not hardly turning this child over. No, no, no. So with Noon, and it's not a spoiler because it's in the synopsis, it says they have not consummated their marriage because I believe she was raped, like, before she got married. So that's why he seeks, like, refuge and starts to communicate and be with Ethel. Because it says in the book, it says, One unconventional couple is at the heart of the novel. Herbie and Noon care deeply for each other, but have been unable to consummate their marriage because of a vicious sexual attack in Noon's past. So when Noon finds comfort and solace in her church, club hopping Herbie finds friendship and sexual gratification with a jazz singer named Ethel. Unexpectedly, Herbie and Noon are blessed with daughters. On two separate occasions, children are left on their doorstep. So you know what? Just from reading the synopsis, it's kind of giving me a little bit of a Women of Bruce's Place. And the reason why I say that, if you have read that book or even seen the miniseries back in the 80s, like their camaraderie when it comes to the neighborhood, because they live in like a basically live in the projects, and with the neighborhood, you know, people know each other and they know their business, things like that. So it kind of gives me a Rumor Bruce's Place kind of feel. Like I said before, you guys know how much I talk about Diane McKinney Whetstone. I discovered her a couple years ago, and for the past like 3 years, she has been on. I've read a book from her, and I currently only have, let's see, let's move this TBR. I currently only have 4 books of hers, and all the books that I have of hers I have read. So these are the books. I would say next, I think I want to read, is it Lazarado or something like that? But I read this one last year, Leaving Cecile Street, and it was so good. I think I did a reading blog. You know what? I've done a reading blog on all of her books. I've just realized that. All the books I own. Yeah, because I did one of this last year. This was one of my first reading blogs I ever did. It's Blues Dancing. And I remember seeing this on Amazon. And January of, I think, 2022, I was like, this is the first book I want to read for the year. And I had a ball. And first of all, the cover. And then with her, like, all her books, the 3 that I have read, are so different. They're not like any other, other book. They're not like any of her other stories. This doesn't read like this book nor this book. I think this is the last book I read of hers, which was last year, and I read it on a whim, and it's so good. And her covers, isn't this pretty? Look at those covers. If you haven't read a Diane McKinney Whetstone, please read one. Again, I've only read chapter 1, and it was like 4 pages, and I'm already like, oh my goodness, this book is amazing. That's what she does to me. So yeah, I'm going to continue to read this and just go from there.
For one, it's important for me to tell a story. I mean, no matter what I'm writing, and so that the words I want to come together in a way that they are shaping a world and a story.
Guys, this book is so good. I had to take the dust jacket off because it was just so bad and it was tearing, but I'm on page 82, and when I tell you, if you guys have not read this, please read it. And I'm not even done with it. That's how like good this is. This author is just golden. You remember I was telling you guys in the beginning how the baby, she got dropped off. Her name is Franny, and she's 5 years old now. Girl, another girl got dropped off, and it's not a spoiler because it's in the synopsis. And oh, it is so deep, okay? It is so deep and juicy. Yeah. This is secrets, lies, deception, everything I like. Tea. At the scene now where the young lady, Liz, she just got dropped off, and she's the same age as Franny. And like, Franny loves her and everything, but she's like super scared. And the way that Diane writes to, you can see everything so clearly. It says, pulled along by Franny, Herbie peeked into the bedroom. The room was soft, lit with a table lamp covered over the pink lace shade. Noon sat on the bed, rocking back and forth. Liz was on her lap, head buried in Noon's chest. She turned and stared straight at Herbie and clenched her arms tighter around Noon's neck. Ethel's voice was in her head again. Okay, I don't want to say that. Oh, she's scared. Don't be scared. It's only Herbie. He's my dad. He won't hurt you. Franny ran to her and patted her back. Liz squinted at Herbie. She felt more confident with Noon rocking her and holding her tightly, and Franny patting her back. Isn't she cute, Herbie? Do you like her red hair? Do you like my new sister? This is Franny talking. She's so cute. So you're gonna tell me what's going on? Herbie asked Noon through the fire in his throat. Who is she? And what is all this sister talk? Yeah, they go on from there. I just can't wait to discover even more because this book, oh my gosh, you see I'm gushing over it. That's how good it is. But let me continue to read. Guys, so I finished Tumbling today and it is a 5-star. It was unbelievable. I was just thinking to myself, every time I read her works, it's like, oh, what can I read next of hers? And everything that I own, I've already read before. So I do need to buy some more of her books. I think next I want to read, like I told you guys earlier, is Lazarado. But her writing and storytelling is just, it's amazing. This is not a story that I have read before. And the crazy thing is, it's just about a Black family from Philadelphia in the 1940s and 1950s. And you would think, okay, there's so many stories that, you know, set up like that. But again, a story I have not read before. Writing is just so detailed where you feel like you are in that space. I feel like I was in Philadelphia. I felt like I was in that household with Fran and Liz and Herbie and Noon. I feel like I was in that church. Oh my gosh, I can't rave over this anymore. You guys saw the last clip when I was not even halfway done, how much I was raving over this book. Again, 5-star. And after I finish this, there is a YouTube channel. I don't think they post anymore, but it is, is it 6 Black women, older Black women, highly sophisticated, pretty Black women. They were called the Black Foxes. I'll put that channel, and then I'll put the video for them talking about tumbling. But just to warn you, it's a book club, so it's spoilers. So they're gonna, you know, tell you about, like, it's a book club. So again, just to warn you, there are spoilers. But this morning after I finished this book, I watched it and it just got even more insight. Those group of women, wish that channel was like still posted, especially with those women, because I love the fact that they would, you know, they break down the book. It's a book club. And at one point they were doing Harlem Renaissance authors. You guys know how much I love Harlem Renaissance, and they each discuss the book and just have so many point of views and things like that. But again, I'll put that down below. But I got even more insight from this story. And what I thought about Fran and Herbie and Ethel, I would say I was right. I'm not gonna say anything, so I don't want to spoil it if you guys you know, want to read it. But and although some secrets and things and lies weren't all the way revealed, I still felt like this book had closure. And then some things some people just don't need to know about. You just need to leave it alone, you know, put it in the past and don't talk about it anymore. And that's what this book did a little bit. You still got, you know, some revelations and some answers to a lot of questions. You got all your questions answered, okay? But again, some things weren't revealed, and I think it was truly necessary. I could see this in like a mini series. I could honestly see this in a mini series because it would just be bomb. There's so many layers to the characters, so many layers to the story and the city. I mean, you're dealing with religion, dealing with sexuality, you're dealing with anxiety, adoption. I mean, so many layers. And this book came out. When did this book come out? This is her debut. And this book came out in 1996. I can go on and on about this book. If you guys have not read this, please pick it up and read it because you won't regret it. This is my first book that I read from my TBR. And next I am going to pick up the Davenports, finally. I was going to wait again, and I was going to wait at first. I told you guys that, like, maybe September, October. But when I thought about it, I was like, well, you know what? I can read it. It's not too far away from the second book because that's in November and it's July, August, September, October. So I am going to pick this up. And again, while I had finished that book, I was driving and I like to listen to, you know, like interviews and things like that. And I was listening to some reviews and also listening to some interviews with the author, and they said they compared it a little bit to Bridgerton. They said if you like Bridgerton, you might like this story. And you guys know I just got into Bridgerton last month for the first time ever. And really did enjoy it. I read all the books. I prefer, I would say, maybe the show over the books, but I really did enjoy reading the books. I mean, I enjoyed Bridgerton, so I do think I am going to enjoy this. Also, they did say that it's a historical romance, and you guys know I've been on this romance thing for the last almost 2 months. And I do believe I am going to like this because, again, like now I'm loving romance, love historical fiction. So I'm going to pick this up next. I'm going to start it tonight before I go to bed. And that's it. This cover is so pretty. I like the cover for the second book too. That purple, but it's something about this yellow. I mean, we look good in all colors. That's just, it is what it is. But this yellow is pretty, and I love the fact that it like glistens. Isn't that pretty? So yeah, we are going to be reading this next. So yeah. Okay guys, so I just started the Davenports, and I have read each one of the point of views of the 4 characters. I think so far I'm gravitating towards Amy Rose. And I think maybe because she is like the less fortunate one, she's the maid. But so far I really am liking it. For this to be like considered a YA book, it's not really giving me that feeling. I like YA books, but again, I always say I just have to be in a mood for them, you know how they can be. Especially when you read them as an adult. But love the first scene where Olivia, she's in the shop, like doing some shopping, and of course the white employee is looking like, it keeps on like is looking at her and basically thinking like, you know, why are you here? You can't afford this stuff. And she literally buys up everything in the store, and the white employee is like, oh, you have expensive taste. Like, girl, come on. That made me think of an episode of The Gilded Age when Peggy and Marion was looking at something, and the like merchant comes up to Peggy and is like, oh, can I help you? And I'm like, girl, no. And they're just staring at her. But the first chapter made me think of that scene. But yeah, guys, so far I really do like this. I'm reading a little bit more and then I'm gonna go to sleep because I have to get ready for work. So I wanted to give you an update on my reading of the Davenports because it's been a couple of days, like 2 days, and I read a good amount yesterday, which is Friday, right? Yeah. And okay, so you remember I told you guys so far my favorite was Amy Rose. I like her, but who my favorite now is Helen. I am loving Helen. That's the youngest one. She's the one that really wants to work in her father's company because she can fix anything. Okay, she reads manuals and everything like that. I love her spunk, and also to her innocence and her drive. And the brother John, he knows that the girl is bad, okay, when it comes to fixing cars and just knowing how to navigate that world. But he's like, well, you know, you're a young lady, you're just supposed to be a mama and a wife, basically. And the dad's like not having it because right now they are in, you know, the carriage business. But of course, you know, automobiles is like the newest thing. And he is telling this, and his dad's like, you know, let's just stick to the carriage business, you know, that's a whole lot of headache. He's like, well, you know what, I'm gonna do my research, I'm gonna get all of our paperwork and things like that so he can see, you know, how it would be a profit. And he tells his sister Helen, like, look, I'm gonna need your help. We got these documents that I need you to go over, read, and all that. And the dad knows that Helen is more than capable, but it's like, again, you're not supposed to do that. So she has to sneak in the garage and all that. But I also am loving it looked like she's trying to like the little British guy or whatever that was meant for Olivia, the oldest sister. But Olivia is liking the guy, what's his name? He's the civil rights which I need to look him up because I want to see, is he real? Is that a real person? But you know, she's now learning about, you know, the Jim Crow and what it's all about, because they're in Chicago, and you already know in the South it's like horrible. And of course she comes from an elite family, so the struggles of, you know, jobs and housing, you know, funding, that's like obsolete to her because she doesn't, you know that world. And I think the thing with Olivia too is she's kind of a little bit shame that she does have, you know, come from an elite family, because it's kind of like, you know, when she goes to the meeting, clearly her way of dressing down is, it still looks, you know, you still look like you got money. And so sometimes she comes off like, you know, doesn't want to admit that she does have things. Or like even when her best friend Ruby and her, when they go out, she's kind of like ashamed that they spent so much money on like fabric, and Ruby like, girl, anyway. You know what I mean? But I like Olivia. I like everybody, if I'm being honest. I really do. This book, for it to be a YA, it does not read like a YA, and that's one thing I really do like about it. And then of course I just love seeing Black elite, Black people that are not struggling. You guys know how much I say that so much. The fact that, you know, you have a prominent family in the 1900s that they got bank. Okay, I love that so much. Hopefully I want to get this done today. I'm not going anywhere. Today's Saturday. I went out earlier. I had to get my nails did, and then I went to the bookstore. I'll show you what book I got. But yeah, I want to knock off a good chunk of this. Like I said, I went out earlier, got the nails did, and then I went to Barnes and Noble. I was gonna get that, you guys remember when I did the new releases, new release books by Blacks, like the Hidden Gem, new releases of this year, and it was a book called The Color of Lies, I believe, by Kim Johnson. It's a YA author. She wrote This Is My America. But I was gonna get that, and I read a little bit of it, but I was like, I'll just wait, because I know I'm not gonna read that anytime soon. The cover is so pretty. I am gonna get that because, again, I want to read it, and then that cover is unbelievable. And the fact that it's a story about a whole family that's passing for white in the 1950s, and they're running away from something because something happened. Yes. But while I was there, I wanted to get another one of my books from this series that I am reading. I told you guys about this in my June wrap up. I am reading a series called the Bergman Brothers series, and there, I believe it's 8 in the series, but I got this one today. And first of all, look at these covers. I just want to show you these covers. Now, this is a white author, romance, and I read this one first and loved it. And then I'm currently reading this one, but I put it on the back burner because I really do want to, you know, get to my TBR, kind of clear that a little bit. And since it's like the year's halfway over, I really want to get that TBR down. Okay. So I was in the middle of reading this, and I'm on page 76 of that, and I'm like, you know what, I know with these, when I read the first one, I had to go out and get the second one like right away. And so I was like, well, you know what, I want to be prepared, so I already have the third one. So once I finish this, I will pick the third one up. But I really do like this series so far, and I like the characters. But yeah, I just want to tell you, that was the book that I got today. Let me get back to reading the Davenports because I really want to get that done today. Okay guys, so I literally just finished this like seconds ago. Wait, let me turn this off. I'm watching The Gilded Age and reading this at the same time, which is just giving me because it's giving me the same vibe. But I love the way this ended. It was so cute, and it does leave you with what's next. That's why I'm so glad this is turning into, that's why I'm so glad this is, you know, turning into a series. But I'm like, I gotta wait until November. What is it? July, August, September, October, November. Girl, I got a couple of months. But this was so good. I like this a lot. I would give it a 4 star. And again, like I said earlier, this didn't read like a YA book. it didn't even really have any aspects of, I don't know. I think maybe because of the historical aspects, I really did like it. And I mean, I like YA, but you know, I got to be in the mood for a YA book. But I like the historical aspects, and I of course like the romance. And I mean, black wealth black wealth and legacy, that's a win in my book. So yeah, I would give this a 4-star. Cannot wait until the second one comes out. I do have chapter 1 of the next book. I want to wait. I want to wait. Oh, let me go to the library, my library, and we're going to do a wrap up of the books that I read for the week. So this week I only read 2 books. The Davenports, just finished that, and then Tumbling. Both of these books were fantastic. They were. This is a 10-star, okay? This was amazing. For this to be a debut novel, it did not read like a debut novel. Oh, this story is so good. Of course, just finished this. This was a 4-star. Love the historical aspects. It's given me a Gilded Age. It's given me Downton Abbey. Actually, this is kind of the Gilded Age, the series. That's like late 1800s, and this is 10. Downton Abbey is actually closer to that, because Downton Abbey is 1912. That's when the Titanic sank. Yeah, so it is a little bit closer, very much closer. I was watching a little bit of that yesterday, but yeah, this, again, love it. Can't wait until the sequel comes out in November, because I want to know what's gonna happen with, let's see, okay. Well, I do want to know what's going to happen with John and Amy Rose, because that, oh my gosh. And then also with Helen and a little British dude. Olivia's like, you know, I like her too. But I'm not really, her story don't really do anything for me. My favorite characters in this book probably was Helen is the first one and Amy Rose is the second one. And I think maybe because Amy Rose, her background is so interesting, being, you know, the daughter of a slave owner, being biracial, being the maid, and, you know, her trying to kick it with, you know, John, the black elite. So I think her story is interesting. And then with Helen, it's like the fact that she went to work on cars and be with her dad's company, be in her dad's company, and kind of rebellious. That's always interesting. Olivia, I do like Olivia, but she's like straight lace, you know, even though, girl, some stuff she was doing. Okay, Livy. Did enjoy the book. Love the characters. Like I said, I love that black excellence and that black elite. It's a win in my book. So yeah, guys, that is it when it comes to me reading my TBR for the whole week. Although I didn't read a lot, the quality of these books were A1, okay? And I'll take that over the quantity, because my thing is I still got enough time to finish my TBR. We're getting there, so that's all that matters. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you, and I'll be back with more black books.